Hello and welcome to the Sci-Fi and Fantasy edition of Incoming, the video podcast that takes a look back at the week's miniature releases. This is episode 7, which looks back at all the releases for week ending the 6th of November 2009, and as always I'm your host Neil Shuck. Well, things were looking a little bit thin on the ground until right at the last minute this week, especially after last week's bumper crop, but we do have a top 10 for you this week, plus a couple of extras. So at number 10 this week we have another new miniatures company to me. This is 6D6 Fireball. They've released a 4-pack of character figures. You have Corval, Drax, who are both humans, Chris, apparently the world's tallest gnome, and Celebeth, who is a half-elf, although doesn't look very half-elven, I have to say. Not too bad on the whole, I think. These look like typical older style 25mm figures as opposed to the 28mm heroic poses that we are more used to these days. Number 9, we have some new releases from RAFM. They have 3 new packs this week. First of all, we have Planetary Militia, followed by Crewmen, and also a pack of Gorillas. I think of all these, my favourites are the Planetary Militia. Some nice poses amongst this lot. But RAFM is certainly kicking out an awful lot of their 15mm sci-fi range at this moment in time. Number 8, and another company that's new to me. This is Studio Miniatures, and they just released their latest pack of zombies. This is their Zombie Mob 6, and quite a nice selection of different zombies here. Never be without too many. And number 7, another 15mm release, this time from 15mm.co.uk. This is a Starfighter crew. Got an interesting different selection this lot. I quite like the Russian style headgear on the figure next to the robot. Another interesting pack from 15mm. Number 6, another release from a company I've not heard of before. This is Pulp City, and this is the Mysterious Man. Certainly an interesting looking figure. I wonder what it is exactly that's resting on his shoulder. And I'm assuming he's on a custom base, but something a little out of the ordinary from Pulp City. At number 5 we have the most welcome return of Olleys Armies. Bob Ollie, who was featured last week with lots of gribbly stuff, returning this week to what he knows best, Scrunts. And a Scrunty Flyer. Quite an unusual looking vehicle this. I think if you looked at it front on, it would almost look as if it was grinning at you. And the pilot looks like he's forgotten his skateboard. But as always with Bob Ollie, a sculpt that's just packed chock full of character. Number 4, and another vehicle, this time from Khurasan Miniatures, a company we more associate with historical figures. This is from their 15mm Sci-Fi range, and this is a Sea Wasp vehicle. From the look of things, this is a 2-man flyer, and the clean lines, especially around the front of the hull, just really appeal to me on this one. And staying with armour, into the top 3, and a new range of miniatures from a company that's currently known for producing flight stands. This is Top Gun Marketing, and a completely new range of uniquely shaped 15mm sci-fi vehicles. Here we have some light tanks, heavy tanks, a recon vehicle, and an infantry fighting vehicle. Pretty unique, as I say, and they're gravity vehicles. And if you're wondering what the circular or hexagonal features are on the armour, these are actually areas of reactive armour. Very unusual shape, these particular tanks. The fluff behind them is that they're actually produced in space, which lends them to producing this unusual shape. Really interesting new range, something pretty unique, and look forward to seeing more from Top Gun. Number 2, and a release that could almost slot into the historical miniatures, except for the fact this is Darkson Designs. It's alternative World War II, and this is an MG43 gunner and loader. So, alternative history, World War II, so they just about class as sci-fi, but a couple of really nice figures here from Darkson. All the kit of the figures is still very reminiscent of late World War II, 1945-46 sort of kit, and they're slightly more futuristic infantry weapon. Really nice sculpt. And for number 1 we go to Crocodile Games and their War Gods of Egyptus range. This week they've released a brand new set of Titans, and to be honest, these are, I think, head and shoulders above pretty much everything else that's come out this week. These really are a stunning set of figures. The Overlord is probably my favourite, and I think I prefer the alternative head-on Titan Master 2. which then becomes something fairly reminiscent out of Clash of the Titans. But an excellent range of figures, these. Well worth #1 this week. Superb stuff from Crocodile Games. Well, that was my choice for the pick of the bunch of the releases this week, but there were a few more as well. So just in case you missed them, here's a roundup of the rest of the week's sci-fi and fantasy releases. So there you have it. A quieter week this week, I think, for sci-fi and fantasy releases. But despite that, some very good releases, and as I already said, the Crocodile Games releases were just absolutely stunning. Well, before I go, just want to say a huge thank you to Zach at Tabletop Gaming News and Bill at the Miniatures page, without whose help this podcast simply wouldn't be possible. Also, if you want to see this show again, then it will be appearing on Warboots TV. Pop across there and check out the streaming videos at the bottom of the page. So that's everything until next week. In the meantime, happy gaming, take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye!